Imagine for a moment a scenario that is no longer science fiction today. You are applying for your dream job, the perfect position. Your references are excellent, and the in-person interview went great. But without your knowledge, a forgotten forum post from more than a decade ago, or an innocent-looking, like, once given somewhere in the digital dark, quietly tips the scales against you. Or look at it another way. Could an old online joke determine what news, information, and offers you see from the world today? How is this possible? The systems sorting our daily content rely on these deep, often trivial, data points. The answer lies in the phenomenon we call digital dust. This is not merely your digital footprint, those few Instagram pictures, or your LinkedIn profile. This dust is an accumulated layer, all the data we have ever generated. From old long-forgotten social media accounts and defunct platforms, all the way to our clicking habits and search queries. For most people, this data collection has sunk into digital oblivion. It's the complete, messy record of our online existence. We often recall some embarrassing old photo. But digital dust goes beyond mere embarrassment. It is a constantly growing dataset that almost whispers in the background. The topic we are addressing today is the subtle, yet severe, impact of this dust. This is the invisible force that is actively shaping our present and our future. It's not just about what we remember, it's about how the vast, hidden systems, the algorithms, the AI models, big data, utilize these fragments to build their picture of us. Every click and every comment serves as a tiny, persistent vote on our identity, whether we consciously agree with it or not. In the next few minutes, we will reveal how digital dust influences the anatomy of algorithms, how it creates echo chambers, and how it raises the crucial question of data ownership. Let's look beneath the surface. The passive shaping, data as algorithm food. The power of digital dust lies in its ability to passively shape algorithms. Imagine YouTube, Google, or Facebook as a vast machine that constantly needs to be fed. Our dust, our user habits, is that food. This constant input ensures the systems are always learning, always adjusting. Liked videos, articles left unfinished, and search queries, even those from 10 years ago, all assign patterns to us. For the algorithm, this is not history, but statistical probability. Old traces that point to changed interests like digital dust affect what recommended content, what newsfeed, and most importantly, what search results we see today. Do not forget, Google does not show the same things to everyone. What is reality for you in the search engine is a personalized, algorithmically created reality, painted by the very particles of your own digital dust. This means your past dictates your current filter of the world. The personal and professional impact, the shadow interview. The impact extends to real life, especially professional opportunities. Let's consider recruitment algorithms. Today, large companies often use automated systems to filter candidates before a human eye even looks at them. These systems operate with massive, diverse datasets. And this software doesn't just read our CVs. Digital dust may contain data that the system ultimately uses to build a risk profile. A forgotten opinion expressed on a controversial forum, an old like on an irrelevant topic, these seemingly harmless online activities can influence our score. This is a shadow interview that is constantly running in the background. Imagine a candidate who loved a specific sci-fi series 15 years ago and debated it on every forum. Today, their career is completely different. However, the algorithm still uses that old data to establish personality traits, potentially misinterpreting the candidate's current profile. Thus, digital dust distorts. The algorithm lacks the context of human evolution and personal growth. The subtlety of the influence shows this. Digital dust is never static. It is constantly active, exerting a hidden but major influence in our most important life situations. But what happens when this dust no longer just paints our personal reality, but restricts us on a collective level? With that, we arrive at the echo chamber effect. The echo chamber effect, societal weight. The problem runs even deeper when individual digital dust accumulates in the collective data desert. This is where the echo chamber effect is born. In the previous section, We saw what characteristics algorithms assign to us. But what happens when these characteristics, determined by old clicks, forgotten likes, and changed interests, amplify our own cognitive biases? The result is a self-reinforcing loop that restricts new input. The goal of algorithms is to maximize engagement, so they look for what keeps us in front of the screen. Based on patterns derived from digital dust, they constantly reinforce the viewpoints we have agreed with in the past. This is how the filter bubble develops. The filter bubble is not only created by current habits. The bubble is amplified by long-forgotten preferences and interactions. We can call this amplification by digital dust. This is the most alarming realization. The joke from 5 years ago, the political opinion from 8 years ago, or a random click on extreme content, this dust can also contribute to what we see of the world today. We do not receive differing viewpoints because the system calculates that it would not keep us sufficiently engaged. Digital dust limits exposure to different perspectives. It creates a version of reality that is skewed toward our past choices. From a scientific point of view, this phenomenon severely hinders the ability for critical thinking. For a mind to function well, it needs to clash with challenging viewpoints. However, the filter bubble, rooted in digital dust, locks us into a comfortable but intellectually sterile chamber. This intellectual confinement represents a significant threat to informed democratic discourse. And what is the real consequence? Living in the digital echo chamber affects decision-making and worldview. If all the information we see only confirms our existing beliefs, our ability to objectively evaluate complex problems decreases. Consider consumer decisions. If we only see a narrow category of products, we might miss out on better, more innovative solutions. Consider political decisions. If we only see opposing views as a caricature, civil dialogue stiffens. This polarization makes compromise nearly impossible. The collective effect of digital dust and the echo chamber is like a slow, silent social subsidence, where our thinking drifts away from objective reality without us even noticing. The ghost in the machine: data ownership and control. After seeing how seriously digital dust impacts our personal reality and social cohesion, the most fundamental question arises: who actually owns our dust? Most services, from social media to search engines, operate by having us accept terms and conditions that grant a broad, often perpetual license for the use of the data we generate. We believe we are generating the dust, but in reality, the platforms store and profit from it. This structure turns our personal history into a continuous revenue stream for others. And here comes the most critical point. Pressing the delete button does not eliminate digital dust. The post or the account may disappear from the interface, but the underlying data, the interactions, the patterns, often remain on the servers, in archives, or are incorporated into the learning models of the algorithms. The challenge of digital dust lies in the fact that even if we physically delete the data, its effect and imprint can remain in the machine learning systems, like a ghost in the machine. The algorithm remembers what we tried to forget. This ghost raises serious legal and ethical gray zones. Currently, many regions around the world are trying to tackle this data persistence problem with legislation like the European Union's GDPR or the right to be forgotten. The right to be forgotten, in principle, allows us to request the deletion of inaccurate or irrelevant data about us under certain conditions. Enforcement remains difficult when data is spread across global server networks. But this right often only applies to search results, not the absolute removal of underlying data from corporate databases. The data retention policies of platforms, which dictate how long they store the inactive remnants of accounts, remain vague. Controlling digital dust requires new technological and legal solutions. We are seeing emerging technologies and regulations aimed at granting users greater control. For example, how can we ensure that users can truly audit the data stored about them and enforce its removal from learning models? This demands transparency that the current centralized systems are reluctant to offer. One of the biggest technological and societal challenges of 2026 and beyond will be to establish the mechanisms by which users can genuinely become digital inheritors, entities that rule over their own data, rather than merely passive data sources. Wiping away the dust. practical steps, and the future. The existence of digital dust is inevitable, but its weight is not. Once we acknowledge its impact, we must ask, what can we do to manage our legacy? My suggestions focus on three main areas. First, digital audit. Perform a digital audit regularly. Kierst meg es torold azakat a regi, elfeladet fiakakat es forum bejajisikat, ameliek marnem kepviselnek tegd. Use tools that map your inactive online presence. This process is your first line of defense against algorithmic misinterpretation. Second, data minimization. Practice the principle of data minimization. Before every interaction, ask the question, is this data sharing necessary? Limit third-party access in applications and update the privacy settings of major platforms. Third, intentional legacy. Create an intentional, less burdensome online legacy. Think about what you share. Let intention, not reaction, guide your digital life. This is a guarantee you give to your future self. The invisible weight of digital dust is not a technological error. It is a mirror that shows the price of the hyper-connected age. Our task is not only to use the technology but to understand the responsibility that comes with it. The relationship between humanity and our ever-growing digital self is constantly evolving. How we manage our digital dust will ultimately determine how capable we are of thinking freely and making objective decisions in the future. Let the light of consciousness shine upon the dust as well. Thank you for joining me today. If you are seeking the answer, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share this with those who are not satisfied with superficial explanations. The light of understanding truly shines when we pass it on.